Okay, I'm going to try to give you a little short, quick introduction into the Cmore programming software to try to help give you some hints and some things that you can work with and start playing with. As we open up Cmore 6.53, okay, this is the screen that you'll start out with. We're going to start out by we're going to make a new project. Now, if you already had a project in the HMI and you wanted to bring that project into the screen and do work on it to try to fix problems or change things down, that you would actually go to read from panel. But we're going to make a new project. We're going to call it Test 2. You can call it, you can name it your name, you can name it whatever you want to, but just whatever it is, that's what you got to use, or what you're going to use. Now then, you got to select a panel type. The panel types that I have in the classroom are EA9. Most of them are EA9, either T6 or T7CLR or T7CL. The particular one that I have connected to the PC right now, I'll show you in just a minute, is actually a CLR, and I'll show you how to find out what type of what model you do have. But we're going to click on CLR. Now, as I said earlier, we're going to be doing our programming in the labs to a Micrologix 1500 series PLC, Allen Bradley. So we have to scroll down till we find Allen Bradley, and because it's a Micrologix, you can see there, if you scroll down, you'll see Micrologix out to the left side of it, and it also says full duplex. We'll get into full duplex a little later on. We start talking about actually going into the networking and such, Ethernet and such. It becomes a little more important at that point, but right now, for our purposes now, we're going to use the Allen Bradley DF1 full duplex Micrologix. The DF1 means that we're going to be going through a serial connection to connect the HMI to the PLC. Okay, we can tell it okay now, and when we do that, our screen size comes up over here. Now, a lot of things to see about the screen. This is your screen tab. It will show you all the screens that you have initialized or set up in this particular project. Function tab, pretty much like a control on the PLC, but you got, and if you'll also notice, these are all set up over here at the top. We have a panel manager. There's a panel manager here. Configure password. A lot of these things you'll find in the drop downs in these tabs up at the top here. All right, and then the panel connection. Right now we have a working USB connection. If that little bubble is green, we got a working USB connection. If it's red, you got a problem. That's when I said earlier you may have to go back into your Windows Defender activation file and find and see if there's any red circles next to Cmore in the inbound communication, because Windows 10 could very well be blocking it. That's what I had to do to make this thing start talking. Okay. Again, down here when you're on the screen, this gives you a little information about what's going on in the screen itself. You can play around with these. You can do passwords for managers, anybody like that. Change background information, those different types of things. Down here is your object layer list. Shows you all the information about what layer you're into. And other things. On the right hand side over here, there's your object list. These are the things that you can actually pull from, like push button. We click on push button. Here in the parts list are all the different types of push buttons that are available to you that are built into the program. Switches. You go to switch, you can see the different types of switches. There's different ones you can pull from. That's push buttons again. If you scroll down through, you got indicator lights. We're going to get into numeric entry a little later on, into graphings, bitmap, and as I said earlier in one of the posts that I made, you can go to Automation Direct's video library, and they have tons of videos on doing different things, different types of projects, things that can be very helpful in getting you set up and going. Couple of quick things about this that I might need to bring to your attention. If you look here, we can actually display the grid, or we can lose the grid. We can actually snap the objects to the grid if you want things to go into a common format. We'll use the snap to grids and leave it there. If you want to change the grid size, you can change the grid size. and the smaller you go, the smaller the number, the smaller this grid becomes. You can, I recommend that you get in here and play with all these things just to see what they can do for you. All right. Once we get our project in, let's real quickly just go and just find the indicator light, and I'm just going to use this one for example. So when you grab it, drag it over into your project, it'll show up there, and the indicator light properties will show up. A lot of things can be done in this particular part of it. You can simulate right here to see what it's going to look like when it's on, what it's going to look like when it's off. You can rename it if you want to. You can call this one, for example, for your red light circuit, you can call this the east-west red. It's already red for you. So and there's a change. You can label it. If you put a label there, it gets a label above it. Whatever you label it, you can change the position of it, text color, background color, text size, how it's aligned, everything about it. All right. As you go over, you've got any text that's going to be written in the off condition. You can barely see it there, but any text written in the off position will be written right there. The text color can be changed. Right now I think it's red. Let's change it to white so you can actually see the text, what the text is saying on this particular one. Background color, you can make the background, you make it blink, whatever you want to do there. That blink will actually is just blinking all the time. Now if you want to blink it in control with your PLC, you're going to have to make that, make that happen in your PLC program itself. Okay. On text, let's say for example on our red light, we don't want any off text on there. I don't want it to do anything. But on our own text, if it's a red light, let's say STOP. All right. I think what I'm going to do is make the grid, the text size smaller for right now. All right. Also, my text color, in this particular case, I want it black. My background color, I'm going to leave it alone. So let's see what it's going to look like on a simulation. Stop, off, back and forth. Okay. Now, having set it up the way you want to set it up, let's give it a tag name. You have to give it a name. We'll call it our east-west stop. Okay. Now once we do that, it's going to come up with this option block at the side of it. It's going to ask you, is this going to be an internal tag, or is it going to be a tag that you're going to associate to an output on the PLC? If it's internal, that means it just stays in the HMI alone. It doesn't go anywhere outside. It doesn't look anywhere outside for any data. It pulls it from what's inside the HMI. If we were to, in our particular instance, if we're going to tie this light to the light in our PLC program, we would go here, hit the drop down, and you'll see device 1. We click on device 1. It's still a discrete object, a discrete point. The memory type for our particular PLC is an O. Address, let's say if this is addressed in the PLC to bit 0, output colon 0.0 bit 0, it'd be 0.0, and the bit would be 0. We add that, tell it OK. Now this red light here in particular, this bit right here is addressed and tied to, I'm going to go back and turn that off when you do that, tell it OK now. That's tied to the address in the PLC program, O colon 0.0 / bit 0. Now, your question about device 1. Let's go to panel, or do setup rather, panel manager. This screen comes up. You can see here's our HMI. It's going through COM port 1, which is where we're going to initially start out with sending our program to. Device 1 is there. Now if you want to know what device 1 is, double click on that. This screen changes and you can see in our original PLC protocol, Allen Bradley DF1 full duplex micrologic is the PLC protocol we're using. This is on port 1 of the COM port, direct connected, and this is the communication information that PLC and HMI are going to use to talk back and forth. All right. So we can close out of that. Now, going back to what I said previously, let's go back here and let's say we are gonna set this up as our red light circuit. A couple of quick things to look at. We can right click on this and copy it, do a paste, and I could move it over here. Be one way of doing it. I could build my red light, yellow light, and green light side by side, or I could just leave it. I could put it right down below here. Let the grid snap it in so it's right directly below it. Let's do another paste. Same thing down here. Oops, I need to slide it over just a little. Come on. Okay. Now, that looks like a typical red light for us, but the problem is I got all red lights. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click in here. We're going to make this now on our own text say slow. We're going to make our background color a bright yellow, our off color a dull yellow, and let's test it. Okay, and we've basically set up what we want there, but instead of being our east-west stop, this is our east-west amber. The only thing now is that we have to address it to a different address in device 1. So now it would still be an output. 0:0.0. Let's say it's bit 1. And we tell it OK. Hang on. Oh, I have to add it. Sorry. Alright. Got that one done. Let's go to this one. Do the same thing. Change it to a green. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to walk through. I want you people to do it. I want this to be something, one part of your projects that you turn in for me, or once you get into the labs themselves. And you'll notice as you build these, your object layers or your object file starts being added down here. Tells you the information about it, what it is, what object name is, the object type, and all this. All right. Now, one thing that I want to point out to you now is that what we can do is take the control button and hit. And that was already activated. Hit the control button, hit that one, and then go up to this icon at the top where it says group. You can do that, or you could click on this and you'll see group down here at the bottom. Right click on it. I'm sorry, not click on it, but right click on it. Let's control again. Control, right click, and as down at the bottom you'll see, whoops, I got to be on the thing itself. Alright, click here, tell it to group, and you'll notice then what it did now is it put all 3 of those lights into a group by themselves. Now why is that important? Well, it kind of makes work a little easier when we do a copy and then a paste, and now we can drag this over to the side, and now we have our east-west lane. Now I'm gonna tell you can get really fancy with this. If you want to work real hard at it, you can get really fancy. You could put we could go here to our object list to get a rectangle, put a rectangle around that. Well, let's see. Alright, but we can move it here. There we go. And play with this, do a background fill on it with another color, maybe make it a yellow color like you see on the big yellow boxes and stuff. But it's all dependent on how much time and effort you want to put into it, because really a lot of these HMI programs take a lot of time to build. And that's the reason I want you to get involved in this and start playing with it. Use your imagination to do it. Don't expect me to do it for you. I want you to learn how to do this. Other things that you can find out about, that you can actually hit bring to the front, push to the back. So if you've got something that you want to hide back behind there that's only active at a certain point, it would still be back there, and if you clicked on it, it would still activate, but you just won't see it. Another thing that I'll bring up or bring out in this quick run through. Let's go back, right click on this and ungroup them. Okay, and then looking at this one input individually. All right, come on. All right. On the indicator light, look at there's an option tab. Click on the option tab. Object visibility option. You can give this thing a tag name, or give a certain thing a tag name out there and have it addressed to something in your PLC program. And the object is only visible when the address value is a 1. So if you create a tag name and that tag name in your PLC goes active, whatever this is that you've made visibility, hidden visibility, it will only show up when that object in the PLC program actually goes active. It's just some things you can play with a little bit later on to add to different things, but I just wanted to show you that there is an option for visibility that you can turn things on and off through the PLC program and without having turned it on and off in your HMI. Okay, a little quick run through of some of the stuff that you're going to be dealing with on the HMI project. Now, once you get it built like you want it and you want to look at it, if you want to simulate it, there's a simulate tab here. Click on simulate. The panel type will show up as to what panel type you've got. You get some options down here to click from, but just to start out with, let's just hit start. And what will show up is a copy of our program, as it'll be seen on the HMI, with a simulation tab over here. So if I wanted to take the east-west amber light and turn it on, double click it, it turns it on. Double click it, turns it off. Red light, turn them on, turn them off. Play with that a little bit, get used to learning how to simulate it. All right, so we're going to close out of that. Now then, when you get ready to download it to your HMI, you have to send it to the HMI. This tab's going to come up. Again, make sure that you have a green light on your USB connection, or it's not going anywhere. Okay, if now we want to send that project to our HMI. We hit transfer. It's going to ask if we want to save changes. Yes, and we'll save it as I said, test 2. And it's in the process of transferring to the panel now. Transfer OK. Close it. And now I'm going to slide the camera over just to the right where the HMI I have hooked up, and let's see what's on the HMI. There's our project that we just transferred over to the HMI. Okay. All right. Just a quick run through of how to do some of the things on the Cmore HMI. As I said, there's tons of videos that Automation Direct presents for you to teach you how to do other things, or other projects or questions that you may have. And I'm going to try to go through different things with you from time to time. If you have any questions, you can email me. I'm trying to set up, as y'all know, I'm not very familiar with Blackboard. I'm just learning as well too. But I'm going to try to set up a discussion board later on this afternoon for tomorrow morning. I'll be posting that, try to get that posted as soon as I can, but later on this afternoon.